After 20 years of building together through dust, deadlines, and damn good ideas, Pace and Adam invite you to join them for honest conversations about the home building world. Welcome to Build Connected, where experience meets insight, powered by Diamond Home Restoration.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Build Connected. I'm Pace.
And I'm Adam.
Good to be back, Adam. So what you get up to over the weekend?
It's just getting ready for vacation time. That's your thing, vacation. You're on
Yeah,
vacation.
when this drops, we're going to be the week of Christmas. Are you all prepared, ready to go for Christmas?
I'm always prepared. That's something you know about me. If there's one thing you should know, I'm prepared. Always.
Yes, I do know that. That is true. That
Is
is
it?
true.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I'm glad you know that because I know
Yeah.
that. Maybe.
All right, let's get into it, my man. What are we talking about today?
Yeah, our product that we want to talk about, this is a fun one. This is something that we talked about obtaining for a long time, and we never really got around to it. You and I, we worked in San Francisco for many of years. How many years did we work in the city, you think?
For me, 22.
22. You are old as dirt.
In the construction world, another 10 years on top of that before 9/11.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking about trailers, specifically trailers to haul our garbage, dump trailers. And we never really got one in the city because the city sucks for parking, getting around. So it wasn't really an option for us. And so, what that meant for us is when we wanted to get rid of debris, we would either load up our guys would load up their individual pickup trucks was one way to go. Another way was to have garbage in a very concise, neat zone so that we would hire a company to haul out that debris, or we would get a debris box on site, which requires parking permits. And that's a whole nother thing. So now all of our work is in Marin County. We got a bit more space. There's areas to park things like trailers. And so you and I purchased a company trailer. It's been about 6 months. And man, it's been great for us. It's been a great product for our company. It's enabled our guys to not make as many trips to the dump, and it allows us to have a clean job site because they're constantly just moving stuff into that dump trailer. And it's been great for us. We got a good deal. Well, it was fun for me. You didn't do anything. I went to the auction in Sacramento, and we got a nice brand new dump trailer, and it's a 10-foot long trailer. Been great. So that's
It's interesting, I certainly most of the country, general contractors have a trailer, maybe multiple trailers, right? A dump trailer, maybe even like a tool box trailer, something like that. When you're in an urban environment, like you said, it's not a reality. And even still, even up here in Marin, Sonoma, there are certain jobs, like if we're working on a street like you live on, oftentimes it's still too tight to park a trailer full time. So the trailer might kind of make visits to the job site, but we don't have a permanent spot. But those jobs where we do, it like you said, the cleanliness, the convenience of having a place just to put your trash, man, it's changed things in a number of ways for us.
Yeah, it's been great. Let's talk about the downside to the trailer. This is the downside. You're a contractor. You got buddies that know you have this trailer, and then your phone rings and your buddy's like, "Hey man, you think I could borrow your trailer? I got a bunch of debris I got to haul away." And Al, if you're listening, you know who I'm talking about. Oh, did I say his name out loud?
The funny thing is, like, that's true of everything of being a contractor. That's always the downside, right? Oh, you've got this tool. Oh, you know how to do this, right? Like that is the downside of being a contractor.
We
Because
love it though.
everybody's got work they want done, right? And whether it's know-how or a tool, you're the first call.
No doubt. But hey, we're there for our friends, whatever they may need. Well, we're
Yeah.
there to,
Interesting.
we're there to help. Only one trip though. We charge you after 2 trips. Al, 3 trips.
Three
Anyway,
trips is double.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, All right, today I'm gonna talk about something regulation related. There's a change coming here to California. It's an amendment or a regulation change called AB 253. Um, and you would think that I would support this. However, I think it's the wrong direction. I think that ultimately it's going to make things a little bit better for us. And let me maybe just start by explaining what the regulation says. It's a way to address the not in my backyard and the giant delays that we're dealing with obtaining a building permit. It says if after 30 days your permit has not been approved, you will now have the right to go to a licensed outside professional to get your permit approved. And that will speed things up. However, there are two real downsides and one obvious thing that I want to talk about. One is it creates another new professional class category in California. Um, and it requires more money. So the timeline to get a permit will speed up. It will cost you more money. And it will eliminate a lot of people from this option, right? If you have money, if you have the funds to just hire an outside organization, you can go through that 30-day process, um, and then hire like an outside team to come in and with their approved license, they can approve your permit. That eliminating of the people who don't have the funds to do it seems to me to be an obvious problem. But even bigger than that, it seems like this is instead of going at the root cause of a disease, it's prescribing another pill to help fix the problem. Um, it seems to me we had the opportunity to address all of the delays, and that could have been done by clarifying and reducing code. It could have been done by more accountability in the government building departments. Um, but we chose a different route, which is just going to cost more money, even though it will speed things up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, accountability in the government departments, you know they're going to push that along just like they did. And, when you see this line about hiring an outside source, those people that don't exist yet, right? And I mean, that's going to be a whole nother business category in itself. I was saying to you, man, we should start a outsource company that provides such a service. I mean, obviously you're unhappy with the fact that that doesn't get to the root of the cause, but it would be beneficial for us to have something like that in house because these things are going to go over 30 days on a consistent basis. But there's an opportunity there.
100%. I mean, the phrase that comes to mind is pigs at the trough, right? There is a lot of money to be made with this new business category, and people will. But the other side of that is it also shuts out a whole bunch of people who can't afford to hire these private people. And it just seems like we had the opportunity to get to the root cause, and we chose a different road, and that is disappointing to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big pain point for you, Pace. I know, you really feel you're one of those individuals that feels like you can make a change, and I know there's a lot of people out there. I'm probably one of them that just sometimes thinks like, what can I do? Like, what am I really going to do to create change? And I mean, I think us doing this podcast is a step in the right direction, right? We want to talk about it, and I feel like maybe that's me doing my part to help move things in that direction, teaming up with you to speak about these things out loud, and maybe somebody out there is listening and that has some sort of sway in those government departments that can bring this out into the open a little bit more.
Yeah, and I want to say something. I've said it before, but I think a lot of people get confused when they hear somebody like me saying, like, this is not the solution. Let's decrease regulation. You and I, as a company, and this has been for a long time, we build far above the code. We build high performance houses. I don't care how tough you make the code. Like I still feel like we're going to outperform it, right? So my issue isn't with building better houses. It's about the layers of red tape and paperwork and the lack of accountability that lead to this long drawn out process. Make it as tough as you want on me. I don't care. We're going to build better houses, right? And that should be the goal. But to put 2 years between the idea of doing a remodel and actually doing it is insanity. So, I don't want you to think that I want to, you know, do something shoddy or build fast, sloppy houses. Like that is just not who we are. Like to me, it's just about streamlining the process, making things better, every iteration of the code. And that should happen on the other side too. The getting through the process for a homeowner, for an architect, for a builder, just making that ease of this is what we want to do. We're going to build a better house and we should be able to get that permit in a timely manner.
But I mean, don't you think California is moving in the right direction here? I mean, they've identified the problem. I mean, we've been complaining about this for a long time. They've known it's existed, these issues of red tape and things moving slow for a long time. But look, they're proposing something to help move things along. So look, take the good with the bad, right? I mean,
Well, but they're saying if you've got money, you can make it faster. And to me, that's against the heart of so many things that California says they stand for, right? There's an inequality to that, right? Like it's already expensive enough to pull a building permit. Right now, let's bring in an outside agency and let's pay them to go through the process. It's not going to be less expensive. Can we agree on that?
we can agree.
So, I mean, if you're strapped, right, it eliminates some people from this new faster route. And I just think that right there says that it's not the right solution.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, what happens. I mean, that's an interesting thing to bring up, to if there was someone's ear you could catch, right? Where you don't want to pay that additional money to hire that outsourced individual, but you've gone over 30 days. Like what are the repercussions? What I'm this there's no answer because we don't know the answer, but is the city just going to tell you, look, we're over the 30 days. Sorry, can't help you. Move to this outside source.
I think you're going to continue to wait. I mean, there's a couple of interesting things with um, this new ordinance. One of them is there's a sunset clause, right? This will last for 10 years. And I think the idea behind that is let's build, we have such a shortage of housing. Let's build like crazy for 10 years and then this thing will go away. I would like if there was some mention of, during those 10 years, we'll continually focus on the inefficiencies and the long timelines of the building department. But as far as I know, there's no mention of that. So that seems like it would have satisfied me a little bit to say that we know that there's those problems. And while this is happening, we're going to continue to work on that. But I don't see that.
Yeah, well, I guess it's a wait and see kind of thing. And
Well,
all we
and
can,
like you said, maybe the right person is listening and maybe we can add to it, right? Maybe this can be a yes and, right? Like I think this is good. And I think quite frankly, for our clients, this will help us. But I want it to help everybody. I want to get more at the root of the problem. And maybe it becomes a yes and. And that would be okay with me.
yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep bringing people up to date on any new things that come to light regarding all these processes, and we'll complain about the things that we have issues with, and that's all we can do for now. We're going to be talking about something interesting on a job, and we've probably referenced this in previous podcasts, but the interesting thing is really maintaining an organized, clean, nice looking job site. Those are the key things to anything happening at all. I mean, really, those are the first three things that we take the most pride in, and everything from there will move smoothly. And we talked about our product of having a trailer, and that has really helped benefit us keeping our jobs clean. We've always kept a clean job site, but our guys are constantly moving debris into that dumpster, that trailer, whatever it may be. But what happens is if you don't maintain a clean job site, then when you have subcontractors come on to the site, they see that it's not clean and they think they can treat it the same way. So, it is of utmost importance that we have a spick and span job site all the time. And look, does it mean stopping work, a couple times during the day to sweep up and move things around? You're darn right it does. But that's what it takes. And being well organized, we our new purchase was a new dry erase board, and that's been a lot of fun. No more drawing on scraps of cardboard and pieces of plywood, but, the purpose of that is to help with communication. There's so many I mean, I think Pace, on a daily basis, we are constantly talking about different ways to do things. It's just about problem solving, and sometimes words don't get the thing across that you're trying to get across. So we do a lot of drawings, a lot of details that we draw out for our guys. And I mean, just yesterday, I think we spent an hour and a half just talking about a waterproof detail and and trying to make that more palatable for our guys to understand. And really, once we put a pen to paper or the marker to the dry erase board, it becomes pretty clear. So, another way to maintain clarity and organization, and another thing that we've done is QR codes, right? When we get into the kind of finished stages of things, we'll post QR codes in each room, and those are for our subcontractors. They can just take their phone, scan a QR code, and maybe the elevation or the plan of that particular room will come up, and they'll know exactly what goes where, and it's right in the palm of their hand. So there's lots of things. People have different ways of doing things. Some contractors like to get different color spray paint cans, and they spray paint lines on the floor sheathing to indicate where plumbing and electrical go, and that's another great thing to do. We do that occasionally. But I think the point is making things clear and concise for your subs, for your employees, keeping a clean job site. And, when you go to have your inspections too, when an inspector steps up to a job and they see a clean job site, they know these guys know what they're doing. When they step up to a messy job site, immediately they're going to start looking for problems.
Yeah. You know, it's been about 20 years that I've been in like what I'll call a leadership role, um, like on the job site where I'm, answering questions and directing, and there hasn't been a single day like on the job where I'm not drawing a detail, right? And you're right. Yesterday, you and I, with the new board, like how many color markers were there, right? How many times did we go over various details? And like this isn't to say that the plans obviously have details for a lot of these areas that we're talking about, but tying into last week's conversation about a remodel and existing conditions, right? Our waterproofing now ties like the new to the old. And it's easy to detail in advance all of the new conditions. But where they come into an old house, right, you've got just maybe multiple. In our case right now, we've got a new deck area that ties into an upper story of a house. And there's probably 5 different conditions on that horizontal to vertical surface. It said, so just drawing out all of the different flavors of flashing details, just so everybody on site knows like how to do that properly or to the best of our abilities given the conditions. Um, I remember you remember years and years ago, like I bought a set of popsicle sticks,
Here
right?
we
Do you
go.
remember that? Like I used to drive around in my truck and I'd always mock up framing details with my popsicle sticks just so people could physically see in 3D like what the idea was. It's one thing to do like a plan view or an elevation view with your drawing, but if, for a lot of the actual framers, if you can just mock it up in 3D, right, it becomes super clear.
That'd be a great gift for a contractor for the holidays, right? If somebody invented like a Lincoln log set, but it was really designed for like home builders, and it was like miniature 2x4s and 2x6s and little pieces of sheathing and flashing pieces. Imagine a little set like that. Someone would probably gift that to you over the holidays.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of mileage out of my popsicle sticks. And it's funny because, on top of like all of the drawing yesterday, right? Like I'm always looking for little scrap lumber on the floor, right? Which is the downside of the trailer. Like all of my like big popsicle sticks are now in the trailer, so I've got to hunt for stuff so I can mock up a scenario. But yeah, you're right. I mean, this is about keeping things clean, communicating properly. The dry erase board certainly helps us. Spray painting where cabinets go and where fixtures and appliances are. The QR codes, all of that is really just helping people when they walk on the job understand exactly what the idea is. And, doing that well leads to a happy job.
Yeah, and I might have just helped somebody make millions with this Lincoln log set that's just specifically for contractors. So
Well, you've got a choice. You can either create this little Lincoln log set, or you can develop this new licensed permit approving company. So you've got two options. Which one are you going to choose?
Pace, there is no wrong answer there.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. Or
Yeah,
somebody else, if you make it happen, just don't forget about the little people.
that's right. Well, another great week here on Build Connected. Thanks for joining us. I'm Pace.
And I'm Adam.
See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Build Connected. For more stories, insights, and ideas, visit diamondhomerestoration.com or find us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'll be back next week. We hope you will too.